Hi everyone, and welcome to my new frog room. In my last video I showed you the breakdown and a bit of the moving process of the frog room, and in this video was originally supposed to be kind of the setup process of the frog room, but to be totally honest I kind of dropped the ball on filming the setup process. And I think just because the setup happened over the course of a few days while I was unpacking and setting up the rest of the house as well as just being kind of mentally and physically exhausted at that point, meant I didn't really get a lot of the footage I wanted to. And the footage I did get of the setup process wasn't really very good. So after a long time of trying and ultimately failing to use the footage that I did have to kind of edit together a coherent and entertaining video, I've decided I'm just going to skip the setup process for now and just give you a tour of the new room so I can get you all updated. I will be doing a separate video on how to set up the Mist King system because I've been getting a lot of requests about that. I've got a bunch of videos that I want to make, some that are kind of already half made that I've been putting off because I wanted to show you the new frog room before I move on to anything else. This won't be a full tour of all my animals since I kind of just did that a couple videos ago right before the move. If you want to see everything, you can go back and check out that video. This is just kind of an overview to show you the setup and the layout of the new room. So this is what it looks like walking into the room, just to give you a quick overview, and we will start over on this side beside the door. Right beside the door here we have my 12 by 12 by 18 Exoterras that house my Ranodamea or thumbnail dart frogs. This is probably going to be getting a stand upgrade pretty soon. And then over to the right of those we have my fire skinks. This is a big 4-foot, I think 90-gallon aquarium. My pair of fire skinks are in there. And then the stand for this tank also serves as some storage and utility stuff, like I've got some power bars and lighting stuff running in there. Just some more storage and my isopod cultures down in here. And then on this side we have the Mist King reservoir. Pump is back there, and just kind of a manifold with the hoses running off to the different tanks there. And then over beside there, I've got a stand of the 18-inch cube Exoterras. And then over beside here, we have another stand that has kind of become the gecko stand now. I've got my crested gecko down here, leopard gecko here. These are my gold dust day geckos. I just recently upgraded those into the 18-inch cube and put those guys together. And then I've got a new addition right here, which are the Phelsuma clemeri, or the neon day geckos. Pretty excited to get those guys. That's a probable pair. They're still a little bit young, but really cool geckos here. And then I do still have the one frog tank. I've got some Tinctorius robertus in this one. This stand is probably going to get moved along with the fire skink stand pretty soon, but you guys will have to stay tuned for a future video for that. And then over here we have all of my 18 by 18 by 24 tanks. These are mostly all Tinctorius except for this one, which is my Leucomelis. Just an extra empty tank up here for now. And then another two 18-inch cubes on top of this stand. These are both Erotis. And I really don't like having these ones up so high just because it's so hard to see them. So when this stuff gets moved, I'm probably going to build another one of these stands and have another stand of 18-inch cubes on this side here. I've got some other stuff planned in there too that I won't go into too deeply here. Still got my air purifier thing that runs a lot of the time. Got it turned off for now just for noise. My smooth-sided toad, Anthony Hopkins, is up in this tank here. He's still doing really well. My big vivarium down here with all my bromeliads and my Ranodamea variabilis southerns. One of my favorite frogs. I've actually added a few more in here, so now I think there's 7 of those guys in here. And then over here we have my grow-out rack. So down at the bottom we have 12 10-gallon tanks and then 10 5-gallon tanks up here. This is mainly for growing out froglets or growing out holdbacks. I've still got my workbench kind of over in this area. It's nice kind of having it out of the way. I would actually like to put this guy on wheels too and maybe do a couple other upgrades to it to make this easier to kind of move around and work with. Now that I've got a ton of space in the old frog room, I didn't really have room to move it anywhere, but now that I do, yeah, I think there's going to be some upgrades coming to this to make it a little bit easier to work with. And then over beside the grow-out rack here is one of the coolest things about this room, or one of the most convenient things, is that there's actually a big walk-in closet on this side, which is really nice because it gives me a big storage area that's kind of separate from the main frog room. So I've got like deli cups up here, fly media, extra substrates and supplies over in the corner here. Another kind of rack of just storage for smaller items here. I've also got my cricket bins up in the corner here, so it's nice to be able to just kind of come out and close the door and kind of isolate the noise and a little bit of the odor from the crickets in the closet there. And then I've also got my tadpole rack back in the closet here. And then my workbench is right here outside the door. So I can just kind of wheel this out to right here and move the trays off onto the workbench. Makes it really convenient for sorting tadpoles and doing water changes and that kind of stuff. I've also got my little mini fridge in here with all my supplements and foods and stuff like that, which is really nice to be able to have that easy access with that right there. So yeah, really handy to have this big storage closet right off the frog room here. It's already making my life way easier. And then if we just go in here, something else that's really handy too. So there's probably going to be a little bit of an echo in here, but I now have a utility sink right around the corner from the frog room too. So this is really handy for washing stuff up. And then as well, down below the sink in the cabinet here, I have my reverse osmosis unit set up. No more hauling the big jugs up the stairs like I used to have to do in the old place. It's much nicer having it right here. But then yeah, just gonna come down the hallway a little bit here, and just around the corner, we have my big day gecko tank. So in here we have the giant Madagascar day geckos. Even with the bigger frog room, didn't quite have room for everybody, so the geckos are out here. I've also got my morning geckos in this tank here, and I think this is where that other stand with the other geckos are going to go, kind of right in here, and this is going to be kind of the gecko corner. I've got another mystery. This is a monsoon down here, and this thing actually just quit working. It's having an issue here. I think it's got a leak on the inside. Same thing that happened to my other monsoon mister, so I think I know how to fix it, so I'm probably going to do a video on how to do that too, in case if it's the same thing that's happened to two of mine, chances are somebody else has had that problem too. So I'm going to show you how to fix it, because it's a pretty easy fix. It'll save you from having to throw it out or get a new one. And then if we go a little bit further over here, a couple other things I'm really excited about. I finally got my ball python back. If you guys remember, when I moved into my last place, there just was not room for this tank. So my neighbors actually next door ended up fostering this guy for me. So they were looking after him for the better part of 2 years, and they did a great job. He's looking great, still nice and healthy, but excited to finally have my ball python back. And then down below him is my Mallard boa. If you remember the frog room tour I did, he was actually in this little tank up here. And I said he was kind of #1 priority for getting an upgrade when I got into the new place. So as soon as I got settled, I started looking for a tank for him. Ended up picking this one up for pretty cheap, because it's got a bit of a crack on this one side here, but it doesn't really affect anything. But this is a 6 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot tank with the front sliding doors, which makes it really convenient. Really awesome to see him finally be able to kind of stretch out. He seems more active since he's been in this tank as well. I do want to come through and do a little bit more work on this tank. It could use some more kind of branches, a little more structure, maybe some live plants in here eventually too. But for now, he seems to be doing really good in there. Just nice to get him a bunch more room. And so this should be a nice forever home for him. And now that he's moved into this one, this was actually his old tank. But now that this one is empty, I'm pretty sure I'm going to upgrade my leopard gecko into this one, because that'd be a pretty good upgrade for him too. And so my plan, I think, is to actually put the fire skink tank right here as well. And then this will be kind of the reptile corner, the reptile room with the kind of snakes and the skinks and the geckos all over here. And then I think this room will be pretty much entirely dedicated to frogs. And then just a couple more quick things to show you. I do still have the aquarium. It's kind of up in the kitchen dining room area, so I think I'm going to leave it here for now. I actually kind of like it up here. So I've got a couple more cardinal tetras to replace the ones that I lost in the move there. I've been trying to find more emerald iris boras, because they've just got one lone guy left here, and they really should be in schools, but I haven't been able to find any more anywhere. So he's just kind of still swimming around alone. But I did also add some black neon tetras there. But yeah, that's what the aquarium looks like. And last but not least, if you remember the frog room tour video, I said I was thinking about starting another shrimp tank once I got into this place, and it didn't take long before I got settled, before I set back up my old Fluval Edge 6-gallon here, and I got some blue velvet shrimp to put in it. I started with about a dozen in here, and the first sets of eggs have started to hatch. So I've got some little baby shrimplets crawling around in there, so it shouldn't be long before there's a pretty thriving colony in here. And that's it, guys. You're now fully caught up with the new frog room. It is really nice in here. Lots more room in terms of storage, lots more convenience in terms of maintenance and just working in here. And a lot more room in general. So the focus over the next few months here is going to be trying to get some tanks upgraded. I want to get the thumbnails into bigger tanks. Some of the geckos I want to get into bigger tanks. Mainly just going to be kind of upgrading, getting animals into bigger and better enclosures over the next little while. So consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell so you don't miss any of that. Do me a favor and like this video if you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions for future videos, leave them down below there in the comments. And until next time, happy frogging.